Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Again, my name is Susan Bearden. I'm the IT Director at Holy Trinity Episcopal Academy in Melbourne, and I'm very glad to be here tonight. My talk is going to be a little different than in some past tweet-ups that we've had when we focused on one specific social media platform. Tonight, I actually want to talk more in general about social media and the why we should be using social media and how you can leverage it to connect with people both personally, with professionally, to help market your business, and to help connect with people who can help you with your business. So this is more kind of a why than a how-to kind of session. Okay, as I said, I'm the IT director. Now, I should probably tell all of you, how many people in this room know very little about social media? Raise your hand. Okay, I was you 2 years ago. I knew nothing about social media 2 years ago. Everything I know about social media, I like to tell people I learned on Twitter. I was introduced to Twitter professionally by a colleague at a school up in Jacksonville, Florida, who told me that I needed to get on Twitter to connect with educators from around the world. And at the time, I was thinking, Twitter, are you kidding? Why do I care what Ashton Kutcher is eating for dinner, or something like that? That was my impression of Twitter. But she pulled it out, she showed me how she was using it, and she urged me to kind of step outside my comfort zone, and that was way outside my comfort zone, and start exploring Twitter. And the more and more I began using Twitter, and the more I began discovering other people to connect with, I was just amazed at what an incredibly fabulous resource it is. And it's totally not what most people think it is. And as I became more interested in Twitter, I began learning about other social networks as well. Google+, LinkedIn, Pinterest. So for me, if you're interested in learning about social media, Twitter is a really good place to start. About my organization, and we do have a very active social media presence. I'll share our Facebook page a little bit later, Holy Trinity. We are a preschool through 12th grade school here in Melbourne with 871 students. It is a fabulous place to work. Our social media presences include Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, YouTube, and this year a WordPress blog. So at the very end of the presentation, you'll see links to all of our social media sites. So please go visit, and if you are a parent, please check out our Facebook page. Holy Trinity is a fabulous school, and it's a great place to work. That's the end of my commercial. Okay, our social media journey, as I mentioned, when I discovered Twitter, I began sharing that information with one of the other people that I work with, Kathy Coos, who's the head of the upper school, or head of the lower school at Holy Trinity. And it took her a week to get addicted to Twitter too. So the two of us were out evangelizing, trying to get all of our employees to join Twitter, and it was a tough sell, and still is. But we began realizing how we could use social media to help build relationships with our school community. When you work at an independent school, actually for any nonprofit, but for any organization, building relationships is really important because, like for us, we're an independent school, we need to sell ourselves. And we want our parents who send their children to our school to feel really good about why they're at our school. And so that's why we've started using social media to help build relationships, and we've had a lot of success with that. So now I'm going to do a quick poll. Now this is my total geek out. I'm so excited I have a poll everywhere poll embedded in my PowerPoint presentation, and gee, I hope it works since this is being recorded on the internet. But if it isn't, this is a site called Poll Everywhere. And please pull out your cell phones. You're going to take part in this poll a la American Idol via text message. All right. Let's see, I hit start poll. Yes, okay, victory. All right, so the question for tonight's poll is, what social media platforms are you on for professional use? Now, what you're going to do, it's a little confusing. Where you put the to line, where you normally put someone's phone number, or where you put your code for American Idol, you're going to enter 37607. So that goes in the to field, or the phone number field. Everybody got that? Make Make sure you get the number right, or else someone else's poll is going to get your vote. 37607. After you've done that, in the message field for your text message, type 589223, then a space, and then please list whatever social media platforms you are using professionally. So again, in the texting space, that's 37607 in the address, or the phone number place, and then you're going to text 589223, a space, and then your text responses. You know, yay, first one, it worked. And then hit send. So we've got Facebook and Twitter.
Did you spell it like that?
Facebook. Oh, Foursquare. Excellent. Excellent. This is very interesting. I think Facebook is kind of the most popular one so far. You know, there's one in every crowd. Whenever I do this with a group of kids, there's always that one smart aleck. Yelp? Thanks, okay. Excellent. Okay. So it seems like you'd say Facebook is probably the most commonly used platform. That's good, because I have a couple of Facebook sites I'm going to show you tonight. Also, lots of you are using LinkedIn. LinkedIn can be a terrific platform. I'm going to ask Bob Rawl to share a little bit about his experiences with LinkedIn later this evening. He's our Get Social Brevard LinkedIn guru. But anyway, thank you very much for participating. If you're interested in this site, it's called polleverywhere.com. There is a free version, and you can create polls, and you can embed them in a PowerPoint presentation. I'm so excited. My geek efforts were successful tonight. Okay, so why should I care about social media? Again, as I mentioned earlier, social media is about relationships. Just some statistics for you who may be newbies to social media. 85% of internet users have Facebook accounts, and 49% of them are on Twitter. Now, a lot of them may not be very active on Twitter, because that seems like a pretty high number, but there's a lot more people on Twitter in other areas of the country than there are locally. 41% of people have shared a link, video, or story about a brand on Facebook. That's really significant for those of you who are small businesses, because I think for most of the people in this room, Facebook is a very popular place to start and a very appropriate place to start. There are a few businesses where Facebook might not be successful, but for a lot of small and medium-sized businesses, Facebook is a really good platform. And that's really significant, because what you want to do is you want to share stories about your organization, about your company, about your business. You want to share content. You want people to care about your business, about what you have to offer, about your nonprofit, about what your mission is, about who you're helping. And the best way to do that is by sharing information with them, and then if they like it, then they share it with other people, and then it just spreads the love, and then it helps your brand recognition. Nielsen estimates that social media and blogs reach 80% of all U.S. internet users, of which there are 245 million. So social media is really not something you can afford to ignore. I hear very often people will say, I'm too busy, or it's something, I just want someone else to do it for me. But remember, social media, again, it's about relationships. So you have to be very careful that if you are outsourcing it, that the person to whom you're outsourcing it really knows the culture and the feel of your company, and can really help communicate that with the people you're communicating with, your potential clients or whatever. 1 in every 7 minutes spent online is spent on Facebook. That's a lot of time spent on Facebook, guys. Just one more interesting. Pinterest has over 10 million users. 80% are female, 50% have children, and 46% are between the ages of 25 and 44. So if your target market is women between the age of 25 and 44, which, for my organization it is, Pinterest is a terrific platform. If you're selling if you're in the wedding industry, or if you do party planning, or you do anything that's kind of very visually oriented, Pinterest is a good platform for you. You know, if you're a B2B IT company, Pinterest probably isn't your platform. And that's something I want to emphasize, is that a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed by all of these social media platforms. Just pick one and start with it, and it's better to do one social media platform well, an appropriate one that matches who your clients are, than it is to do several social media platforms in a scattershot manner and do it badly. A couple things to note about social media, because a lot of people get confused because the boundaries in social media between personal and professional can very easily be blurred. And you have to be very careful with social media. You want to distinguish between your personal social media use, your professional social media use, which when I say professional, that could be you as an independent consultant marketing yourself, or it could be you as a member of a larger organization who on the side does professional activities on social media, but you're not acting as a representative of your company. And then there's company and organization social media use, where you are actually acting or you're actually representing your organization. You can use social media in all three arenas. For me, Facebook is, it's a personal platform. I don't post anything on Facebook that I would want broadcast on the 6 o'clock news, because nothing you ever post online should ever be something that you really want to keep private, no matter what your privacy settings are. But for me, it's a great way to keep in touch with people. You can, if you have a personal Facebook page, and then you have a business as well, you can also create a page for your business, and that's what a lot of people do. And again, professional social media use, there's different ways you can do it. I think Twitter, as I mentioned, is just a really great way to network with people around the world. I just want to share a story of how I have benefited professionally from social media. As I said, I started not quite 2 years ago. It was December of 2010. And because of my involvement with social media, I have been asked to write guest blog posts, which have led to invitations to present webinars, which have led to invitations to serve on panels for industry conferences, which have led to people asking me to do consulting work, which have led to industry organizations or industry businesses asking my opinion about things at a national level. And that's because of my involvement on social media. Just yesterday, I'm not kidding, I got an email from someone who was asking if I'd be willing to do some training for their national organization on educational technology and social media topics. And it just happened yesterday. She said, I came upon your Google Plus page, and I've been reading about the work you've been doing with Bring Your Own Device, which is a trend in education technology. Would you be willing to do some training sessions for us, or would you be willing to talk about it? This is all because of social media. And the exposure that it has got for my business, for my company, Holy Trinity, has been tremendous. We've had articles about our school in national trade journals. That's huge. I mean, really huge media coverage within our industry for what's going on at our school. So social media can be a really great way, especially if you are in a business or an industry that sells something that can really reach a wide audience, either a national audience or even an interstate audience or an international audience. There's a lot of power in social media. As a small business, you can use social media to build relationships with your current and potential customers. Potential employees, recruiting specifically. LinkedIn is very popular for that. But again, other social media platforms, Twitter, Google+, you never know where you might find your next great employee. And other members of the local community. I've gotten to know, you can connect with area journalists. There's several of our area journalists who are on Twitter and other social media platforms. Politicians, I can say honestly that the governor of Delaware has followed me on Twitter, and that's not a joke. Other community leaders and media outlets. It's just a great way to connect with whoever your audience is in the local community. Here I I'm putting up the Facebook page of the Pizza Gallery and Grill. Full disclosure, Chris is a member of Get Social Brevard. He's one of our core members. But Pizza Gallery and Grill does a great job with their Facebook page. And I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit about what they are doing. Doesn't that look great? I mean, don't you just want it? I mean, what a great page. What a great cover. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. Yes. Chris is the founder.
Chris. Okay, so I really like, for instance, what they're doing. They have pictures of their food. Okay, obviously, I'm hungry. I'm looking. That looks really good to me. And they've got pictures of the space where their restaurant is located. You'll notice they have other people posting. They have people who are writing recommendations. This is a great idea for businesses. If you can get your local fans to write recommendations for your business, whatever it is, and this is a restaurant, but you can extrapolate to whatever your business is. What a great idea. Here, they have a call for artists. I'd like to ask, where is Chris? Chris?
Chris is gone.
Okay, Chris is gone. Jamie manages social media for Pizza Gallery and Grill. Jamie, can you tell us a little bit about, and you have to speak up, or you may want to come up here.
I'll speak up.
Okay, speak up and tell us a little bit about how social media has benefited your organization. Thank you, Ivy.
It's basically kept our brand fresh, in everybody's minds. It has definitely changed the way we spend our marketing money.
Mm-hmm.
It's allowed us to have a back and forth with the customers and the guests that we're looking back and forth. We also use Facebook groups with all of our staff in the house, so the communication within the restaurant and amongst the staff within the restaurant has improved because at any given point, they can post any kind of questions they have, get their shifts covered if they need to, and also be really kind of positively reinforcing each other at the same time, and attaboys, and we have a good night, and it really kind of thickens the culture as a whole.
Wow, that's terrific. So they're using social media not just to connect with their customers and the community at large, but also to build their organizational culture. I mean, that's the power of social media. That's an example of a terrific use of social media. Thank you so much for sharing. Yay! Okay, another area I want to focus on are nonprofits. By a show of hands, how many folks are here from nonprofits tonight? Yay! Let's hear it for the nonprofits. For nonprofits. Guys, there are so many nonprofits that are not on social media or who have just a very limited social media presence. And social media is such a great tool for nonprofit organizations. You can use social media to build relationships with your donors, your volunteers, audience members, board members, whoever. I love to tell the story that we have teachers at our school who have Facebook pages for their classes that use to communicate with parents, not with kids. And they allow parents and extended family members only access to that Facebook page. So they can share with extended family members pictures of what the kids are doing in school, videos of what was going on in class that day. And the parents love it. And I was saying that I have a grandson who attends an independent school up in New Hampshire. And I would love it if they would do something similar. If I could be more a part of his school activities, man, and then if they asked me for money, I would be opening up my checkbook and I would be writing him a big check because they would have helped me connect more with my grandson and his everyday opportunities. Now, they haven't even made the ask, let alone have an updated Facebook page, which is a completely separate subject. But my point is, people want to be connected. They want to care about your organization. You can use it to connect with people who could benefit from your services. Obviously, there's a broad swath of nonprofits, but that could be that part of your goal as a nonprofit is to extend what you have to offer to people in need. Social media can be a great way to do that. And again, also expanding your brand recognition, so to speak, and awareness in the local community with journalists, politicians, community leaders, media outlets, and all that kind of good stuff. I have 2 nonprofit social media pages. Of course, I have to show you Holy Trinities. I'm not biased, but I think we do a really nice job with our Facebook page. I just love this picture. We change our pictures regularly. Just to give you an example of the kind of things we have, okay, so, we're letting people know about events that are happening at the school. We have parents who are posting on our page as well. Using social media to communicate, okay, out of uniform day on Thursday. I'm of the belief that you can never have too many ways to communicate with your constituents. And a lot of times I have found out about stuff on social media that I might have otherwise missed. And we've asked parents to post pictures and stories about their students. And as you can see, it's just we have our main school Facebook page, and then we have another one. Our interview with a teacher, that's on our blog. It's an interview with their teacher. Parents love it. They get to know their child's teachers better. I've gotten to know our employees better. So it's just a really terrific way to connect with people that you are wanting to connect with. The Brevard Symphony also does a terrific job with their Facebook page. Disclaimer, I am a member of the Brevard Symphony, so I just want to make that clear, but I also think they happen to do just a fabulous job with their Facebook page. And I think a lot of nonprofit arts organizations could really learn from what they're doing. One of the neat things they did for this last concert was, and again, they have recommendations. We just had a concert on October 6th, and they had all sorts of stories in advance. As you can see, they're advertising their upcoming family concerts. They posted pictures from the concert. They had musicians, and that's another neat thing about the page, is that musicians are also participating. It's not just our audience members. So you get a lot of, so the audience members really going to get to know the musicians better. It's just a really nice way to cross-pollinate and to help build the audience. So we post videos up there. We did a piece for, that was about Ellis Island on our last concert. And so they put a post out on the Facebook page asking for people to share stories of their family's Ellis Island story. Did they have ancestors who came through Ellis Island, and what could they share? And then they posted those on the website and linked to it through Facebook. It was just a really great way to build community and get people excited about what we were doing on that concert. And it was a terrific concert. So again, this is just an example for you nonprofits out there, how you can, again, use social media to connect with people in your community. And the other thing I really like is right up top they say, support music by giving today. They made the ask right up front on the top of their Facebook page. Those of you who are in nonprofit marketing know how important that is. Just to show you the Holy Trinity webmaster account. We use this. This is more of a news feed actually for our parents and the broader school community. But we'll send information, we'll show pictures, links to articles in the paper. Again, it's just help building our school's brand and creating a positive digital footprint so that when people know more and more about our organization and what we have to offer. Another way, I think I mentioned that business professionals can use social media to build relationships, not just as a member of their company. You can use social media to connect with industry leaders and other business professionals. Like I said, I have had all these professional opportunities that I told you about that have also benefited my organization, but I was acting as myself in a professional manner. Every industry has a community on a social media platform. You just have to find it, especially LinkedIn can be a really great place. You can build social media to build with national organizations. Potential employers, this is huge. You may never know who your next employer is going to be, and it could be that a connection that you make on Twitter or LinkedIn leads to a job a couple years down the line. I think you can never have everyone always says when you're looking for a job, network, social networking, that's what we're all about. And also stay current on industry trends. I work in education technology. Technology, as you know, changes every minute. But if someone comes up to me and asks me, what are the current trends in educational technology, and how are they being implemented, I can tell you what those trends are. I can probably tell you I can find you resources of schools that are implementing those technologies. I can tell you who's doing it well. I can tell you resources of where to find more information about it. I'm absolutely on top of the trends in my industry, and that's because of social media, in my case, Twitter. No matter what your industry, you can stay on top of whatever the latest happenings are in industry trends through social media. This is the LinkedIn page of Bob Rawl. Bob, where are you? Bob, there he is. Say hi to Bob Rawl. He's hiding. Bob is our Get Social Provide LinkedIn expert. Bob, can you tell us a little bit about how you've used LinkedIn? Speak loud. Or actually, get a mic. Ivy, thank you.
Trying to drink my drink.
Actually, Susan covered most of the ways that I use it. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. I use it really 3 different ways. I'm in the wealth management business, so when someone is looking for a wealth manager, I want to make sure that this is my professional online resume, and that's kind of the way to look at the use of LinkedIn. The other thing that I'll do is when a prospective client contacts me, then I'll look for them on LinkedIn to see what I can learn about them before we get together, before we meet with each other. So that's the second way that I'll use it. And then I had a real current situation just this morning. I'm looking at the possibility of doing a focus group for my clients to bring them in with a neutral third party and see what they like about the way my business runs, what they don't like, what we might be able to do better. And through one of my connections on LinkedIn in my industry, we were talking about having industry connections, I know a gentleman that is very big on running focus groups. So I sent him a message this morning, and he sent me back some data that I can use in putting together my focus group proposal that I'm working on with my clients. So I use it for my online resume. I use it to stalk my clients a little bit, or my prospective clients, and then I'll use it for my industry connections so that I belong to a lot of different groups. I'm a runner, so I belong to running groups. I belong to several financial groups. I belong to several social media groups. So you learn and you stay on top of what you're interested in through the group connections.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Bob. That was terrific. Give her a round of applause. Just to show you my own Twitter account, just because I wanted to show you how I'm using it, you'll notice that I use hashtags. Those of you who are not familiar with Twitter, hashtag is the # and then a word or a phrase, no spaces, that follows it. If you are interested in learning about Twitter, the secret is in the hashtags. Hashtags filter out all of the junk on Twitter and help you connect with people that are interested in the same thing that you are interested with. So for instance, just that tweet that's up there, the IS marketing hashtag, that's an independent school marketing hashtag. So for people within the independent school industry who are interested in learning how schools can market themselves, that's a very popular hashtag. So again, it can be a really terrific way to connect with people, and honestly, it's easy. You just go to Google and just whatever your industry, say, Twitter hashtag accounting. I did this last night, and I found a website with 25 hashtags for accountants. Who knew? But there are accountants out there connecting and sharing information. It was fascinating. Yes?
You answered it, thank you.
Oh, for accounting? For real?
No, how to find
How to find the hashtags, yeah. Same thing, just do that. Twitter hashtags lawyer. There's tons of lawyers on Twitter. Twitter hashtag, I don't know, engineering. Pick your topic. Twitter hashtag Get Social Provide. Yes.
And you do that search within Twitter?
Yes.
Okay.
And once you get more familiar with Twitter, you can do lists and advanced searches, and that's probably a whole nother presentation. But yeah, Twitter is a gold mine of information. It's like a river of news that you just have to know how to filter out and find what you're looking for. Tips for getting started, because I know we have some newbies in here, we have some experts in here, and a wide range in between. Start small. Like I said, don't try and do every social media platform on the planet at once. I started with Twitter. I started with one, and then I expanded to more social networks as I got more comfortable with it. But again, I firmly believe it's better to do one social media platform well than several of them badly. It's okay to specialize on one platform if that's where your client base is, or your customers are, or your donors are, or whoever it is that you're trying to reach. Do make a commitment. Nothing looks worse than a social media company site that isn't kept updated. So often what I will tell people to do is you may want to start small and not just do kind of like a soft launch, which is actually my 4th point. And you know, if you say you want to start having a company Facebook page, just start the page, just don't advertise it. Just get yourself familiar with the tool, get comfortable with it. Or you can start with a personal account first, like I started with my Twitter account. It was my personal professional account. And then I also started a school account that I use as the IT director at Holy Trinity. So take some time to get familiar with the platform. Don't feel like you have to like do a huge, big, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Get comfortable with the platform, get comfortable with how it works and what kind of content you want to post, and then start telling people about it. And the last thing is, borrow ideas from other businesses. I am a huge believer in finding other organizations in whatever industry you are in and seeing what they're doing on social media and stealing from them. Well, not stealing from them, but stealing ideas from them. We did that. You know, we go. You know, like for our Pinterest page at Holy Trinity, we'll borrow ideas from other organizations all the time. But we love it. We're not competing against each other, but we're just borrowing the same ideas. And I encourage people to look at our social media platforms and do the same thing, because it's crowdsourcing is how you learn.
I stole your dry erase board idea.
You stole my dry erase board idea? Tell me about it, Mary.
I'm Mary with Mary's Downtown Salsa. And
Yummy best salsa in the world.
I buy your salsa.
Yay! I'm also was your sister-in-law's neighbor.
Awesome salsa.
Oh, hi, Mary.
But anyway, I get salsa confessions from my salsa addicts, is what I call my salsa fans. And so I have them wear a Mexican hat, a mustache, and I have a sign on my little dry erase board that says, I confess, and they can write whatever they want. Or I have another one that says, I love salsa on my, and they can just put whatever food they like to put salsa on. So.
It's like the shades of gray or something like that?
Thank you, Mary. Who knew? But I just want to congratulate Mary. She participated in her first Twitter chat the other night, Master Your Brand Chat. She was interviewed, and I found out about it by accident. One of the chat hosts asked me to join in, and we had a great time. Congratulations, Mary. She stepped outside of her box. Okay, thank you. Q&A. Because I know I don't like long presentations. I've already been talking too long. But what are your questions? I don't know everything about social media. If I can't answer your question, there's probably someone in the room who can, or can direct you to a resource who can help you. So what questions do you have about using social media for your business? Yes, Mary. Okay.
How do you use
Then you're next.
Pinterest? I mean, I've only gone on Pinterest and, picked some pictures, but how do you use that for Holy Trinity?
That's a great question. She asked, how do we use Pinterest?
Next month?
Yes, that's next month, Ivy?
Yeah, next month.
Then that's right. Don't miss next month. In fact, it's Les Marie who's giving a presentation on Pinterest.
Okay.
If you are in the restaurant industry, I would imagine Pinterest is huge because lots of people have Pinterest boards with food. How many here have Pinterest recipe boards? Yeah, it's very popular.
I do.
I knew it, Ivy.
Right next to the running one, right?
Yes.
It would be a great place to put boards of your recipes, pictures of recipes, I don't know, fresh ingredients of how you make your salsa. Who else has an idea of how could Mary's salsa use Pinterest? Yes. Did you have an idea?
What to do with salsa recipes, right?
Posting pictures of where everybody likes their salsa.
I think I could get arrested for that.
I know at Pizza Gallery, we're going to be starting our Pinterest in November, and we're going to be hopefully having shown our pizza, but actually getting ideas of possible future menu items.
That's
Where
brilliant.
people say, hey, they put some there, we might say, hey, we'll make it. So.
Right.
That's brilliant. See, that's what I mean. Every platform is different. You have to figure out what's going to work best for your target audience. I think that's a great use of Pinterest. Excellent. What was your question?
For small businesses, what's the appropriate time management for social media when you're trying to go out in the community and you actually are running the business? there's little time left and sometimes not a lot of funds to hire someone else to do it. So how much time should we spend doing it?
You know, I like to tell people that you'll get out of social media what you put into it. So if you can, you know, spend 10 minutes a day on social media, that's better than nothing. If you spend half an hour a day, that would be fabulous. But if you start small, the key with social media is to be consistent. And again, even if you're a small business, if you're posting once a day, or even you might want to post every 2 days to start out. I mean, don't put pressure on yourself. That's why it's okay to start small. You don't have to be, you know, the world's hugest Facebook page with 2,000 fans right out of the gate. So just start small, and because that is something that really discourages a lot of small business owners from using social media. I do feel it's really smart for small business owners, again, because we're talking about building relationships. I think it's really good for you to be the one who's actually building the relationships. There are organizations that outsource social media, and that can be done, but you have to be very careful if you're going to do that, because you have to make sure, I think, that whoever you're outsourcing it to really has a sense for the culture of your business, because that's what it is you're trying to communicate.
Thank you.
Who else? Yes? These are great questions.
My question is about LinkedIn.
Yes?
And I would like to know if anybody has any example if the upgrade account, the paid account on LinkedIn has any benefits.
Bob? Can you, yeah, Bob takes that, okay? He's nodding over here. I'll take that one.
I tried the paid for a while. I was free for a long time. I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and be an open networker and pay the, I think it was pretty expensive, $500 or something like that for the year. And so I signed on for it and tried it for about a year. I didn't see any difference, so I went back to the free version.
Thank
And
you.
it works fine.
Yeah.
What about Facebook advertising? Has anybody?
What is it?
Facebook advertising. I did that for a couple of months, and
That's a good question. Is there anybody here who's had luck with Facebook advertising? Because that's not my area of expertise.
We have looked and faced at Pizza Gallery, and just once again, you can have a target group on it. So if you have the funds to do it, you can do that. We decided not to because once again, it's on the side window, and so we try to think of what people are going to actually look at. And for some people, it's going to work, but for news feeds, that's our whole thing is news feeds. And so we decided against it, but if you're looking to start up and you have some marketing money, it may, because you actually can target it. So that way, people only in Brevard County will see that on the side.
I did it for a couple of
So if it's a nice area if you want to target a certain thing.
I literally got one of my 13-year-old son's friends to Facebook friend us. You know, it's like, you know, I mean, really, like, it's insignificant friends.
Right, right.
I don't know. So I was wondering if anybody
And-
else, situational business, but I didn't know if anybody else has used it.
Right.
I used it.
Did you have comments about Facebook advertising or a question?
Our corporate office uses it.
Oh, great.
And, you know, people
Wait, okay, wait. We have a Facebook marketing expert. See, I love crowdsourcing. This is how we learn.
What company is
Our
that?
corporate office, State Farm, uses it,
Right.
most uses it quite a lot, and it pops up a red box for a quote, and people just punch on it, and they're redirected to our pages for a quote.
What's your business?
Right.
Now, is it redirected to your local page?
So she says it is redirected to her local page.
To the
So
local.
once again, it will work with the way you target it. So.
Yeah. And again, I think it's important to remember with all social media, you gotta experiment. I mean, I hate to say that there's an art and a science to social media, but the more I do social media, the more convinced I am there's more art sometimes than science. And you have to, it's trial and error. Sometimes you'll try something, it won't work. Yeah, that's okay. You move on, you try something else. Who else is it?
I think it's also paid by clicks too. So
Yes.
That's why it can be affordable. So.
Okay. I don't want to keep you sitting for too much longer, but do I have one more question? Who else has a question? Yes? Ooh, right here. All right. My photographer.
I'm sweating.
Thank you, Ivy. Everybody, let's give Ivy a round of applause.
Right, my question is related to something you brought up about outsourcing your social media. One of the things that I found, kind of the commentary that she was making, is finding the time to post relevant things when your target audience is going to be, actively using that medium. to see it. So it seems like there's a rise in people that are specializing in social media.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you would recommend or dissuade from, or what's your feelings on that?
Oh, that's a minefield. I'm not sure I want to step into. Yes and no. I think you have to be. There are some great social media consultants out there. We have some in our group. Okay, who's in Get Social regard to social media consulting? Okay, let's hear. Yay, Nora, hand raised. Hand raised. Okay. So actually, there are several people in this room who do social media consulting. Yes, social media consulting can be very helpful. Be wary of the consultants who will tell you, I'll guarantee you 500 Facebook likes in 2 weeks. It's where you have to be careful is remember, it's about building relationships. So yes, social media consultants can absolutely be very helpful. But just be careful that they're not promising you or that they're not saying, well, we'll just post all your social media just as a one-way thing, but there's no real relationship building. It's just kind of outbound. Well, that's outbound marketing. That's not relationship building. So yes, if you are a small business and you're wondering about social media, I would definitely say that is definitely an option to consider. But just ask a lot of questions and make sure that you're comfortable and that you feel that, especially if you're outsourcing with social media management, make sure that you feel good that they understand the culture of your business. And remember, even if someone else is doing the posting, someone still has to prepare the content. So it's not like you don't have to do anything. It's someone that still has to have content available. Yes?
It's going to comment on the automation side of things. You can't automate it and still do it yourself. We actually have a virtual assistant that works for me that I'll maybe driving or I maybe stop at places and I'll go through and look at certain things. And I have a voicemail box set up that goes straight to them with a recording that says, hey, I want you to go do this, this, and this, 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 and this in these places. And then they'll go post it out. So I can do it between things without having to stop and spend dedicated time to it. So there are ways to put together a social media plan where you're still creating that personal interaction without having to sit down and go through all the pieces yourself. So you can't automate that.
Thank you, Tom. That's a really good point. And you can also use different Twitter clients or something like Hootsuite to schedule Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn posts. So there are ways around it. But you're right, it is a time investment, and I do understand that for small businesses, time is money. How I would look at it is just remember, it's networking. You're investing time here tonight. You're networking. You're learning. Social media is the same thing. Do you have an immediate ROI on going to a networking event? No, but it might generate future business down the line. So that's a really good way to look at it.
What I was going to say is if you do end up using a social media consultant, you want to make sure their voice is your voice.
Yes,
that's the one thing
very important.
When we first started Pizza Gallery, me and Jamie, we had to really learn what Chris wanted. Because we started posting things and Chris was like, I don't like that, I don't like that. So now we understand what Chris wants. And so the same thing with me and Jamie do other clients, we find out what they want. And we learn through trial and mistakes. So you have to make sure your voice is clear though.
Yes.
That's the thing. And so if you're even doing it inside, you're good. But if you get a consultant, make sure your voice is completely clear, because if you're scatterbrained on your voice, it's not going to work. So you have to have a clear voice. And I think that's the most important thing of social media is your voice is being clear. So.
I agree. And if you work with a consultant and you're getting vibes that they are not interested in promoting, they should care as much about promoting your business as you do. That's my opinion. And so that is such an important point about voice, Ivy. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Okay, I don't want to bore you guys anymore. You guys have been sitting for a long time, and there's still food and wine.
Let's give her a hand. Let's give Susan a hand.
Thank you, everybody.
Susan's going to be around, so if you have any questions for Susan, that's awesome. Let's give a hand once again to Evan Cluster for doing our first podcast. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm not going to tape there. But there's no red light on, so it hasn't been on the whole time. It's recording. All right, sweet.